Welcome. Thank you for making the decision to be present for the 6th week of our inaugural Chart Your Financials 7-week workshop webinar. I'm your host, Dr. Pamela Ellis, and I'm a licensed and appointed financial and health consultant with World Financial Group and WealthWave. I work within our network of more than 140 financial and health organizations. Many of us have come to know at various stages of our lives the programs, plans, and products that have provided health, life, and retirement benefits for those we know and love, our families, businesses, and communities, as well as for ourselves. Wherever we are in life, we continue to ask important questions that encompass our ability to have a prosperous life, quality health care, and an honorable legacy for our family and for charitable organizations. Today and for an additional week, take up the challenge to prioritize time to complete the WealthWave 7 Money Milestone System review. Write down your questions in the Q&A section and we will work through them. Let's continue to stay positive, keeping our eyes on the prize for personal development, professional development, focusing on mastering our highest human and financial potential towards achieving various life goals. The WealthWave 7 Money Milestones were developed for individuals and by extension, families and businesses, equipping all who want to achieve financial security, independence, and the ability to navigate life's financial twists and turns with a solid education roadmap foundation. Within our Money Milestones company, there's a vision and a system for education, financial strategies, and entrepreneurship. WealthWave, the How Money Works company, provides expert guidance, peace of mind, and tailored strategies towards achieving your goals. Our solution is found within our proprietary education system, combating the crisis of financial illiteracy, transforming lives nationwide. As you can see here is a graphic that showcases our award-winning series of books, our podcast, our webinars, our website, and our financial professionals who work with clients in communities throughout the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico. Okay, and a little bit of a difficulty with my slide here, but I'm sure it will be advancing shortly. So over the past weeks, we have reviewed the first 5 money milestones. we covered the first week financial education, and we talked about how to become financially literate, and it is through going through a financial education curriculum. We have provided those resources with you, and we've talked about how to utilize those resources working with a financial professional. The second week, we talked about proper protection and how to protect yourself against loss of income and loss of savings. The third week, we talked about the emergency fund and the importance of saving 3 to 6 months income preparing for unexpected expenses. The fourth week, we talked about debt management, changing our spending habits and striving to eliminate debt. And we listed all the different ways that you can manage your debt. The fifth week, we talked about cash flow and the importance of identifying different solutions and sources of additional income. We evaluated our skills, our knowledge, our abilities, and the importance of leveraging our network, as well as managing our expenses. This week, we will be talking about building wealth. And so we'll be reviewing all of the details here. And next week, we will finalize our review with milestone number 7, protect wealth, creating a will, and we will look at trust as well, and also guarding your legacy. So today's topic, build wealth. So it is important to avoid the impact of taxes, losses, and inflation. And it's important to accumulate and grow assets. So when we look at this topic, we're going to begin with what you need to know about the wealth building process, okay? And first and foremost, this is a personal process. You choose what happens with your income daily, weekly, monthly, and throughout your lifetime. And so the process overview, you need to determine how much wealth you currently have. And I know a lot of people don't like to think about this, but this is the beginning of the wealth building process. You need to know what your net worth is. And you need to determine with a financial professional what options you may be eligible for that allows you to utilize wealth accumulation strategies. So it's really important that you begin here with the wealth building process in order to grow assets for the future. What is your net worth? Okay, when you think about net worth, this is what you need to think about. What do I owe? Assets. What are your assets? And then you minus your liability, everything that you owe. And you know the different types of assets. And I've listed 2 here, but there are additional ones, but these are the top ones that you need to know is what are the liquid assets and what are the fixed assets. Examples of the liquid assets is cash in your checking and high yield savings accounts that you can access quickly. Investments that you could sell within 2 business days. Your stocks, and if you have certificates of deposits without withdrawal penalties, your bonds, accumulated cash value of permanent life insurance. So we're not talking about the early stages of building within a cash value permanent life insurance. We're talking about over time, you can have large amounts of cash value, which is an asset as well, with a permanent life insurance. Examples of fixed assets. These are long-term assets that are not easily converted to cash. Your vehicles, your art, your antiques, your jewelry, your real estate equity. How much equity do you have in your house that you can access? Those are your fixed assets. Why is personal net worth important? It's important because this is how you're going to know what your financial wellness number is, okay? So that's why you need to understand how to calculate your net worth. And so that's something that financial professionals do help you with. And you can find calculators online as well. And so that's something that you begin to think about, and you chart your progress over time, how you're building, and you have your goals. So you're setting your goals, you're charting with clarity to achieve possibly an early retirement as an example, or other goals, and financial independence. Here you see that as an example, retirement. I just mentioned retirement. And this graphic is really clear because you're thinking of an airplane, and you would not want to get on an airplane that had one wing. And neither do you want to be in retirement with one wing. You want both wings of your retirement airplane to be intact. However, we see that a lot of people in the United States, they are relying on less than what they need, okay? The industry standard, we're looking at about 70%. We talk about that number of how much you need when you do ultimately retire. So you're looking for that on a monthly basis of what you're bringing in now, and how you're going to achieve that. If you're talking about just living on your Social Security, which nobody wants to do, that's only going to be 40% of the airplane. And then when you add your 401k, the average American account has $195,000 in a 401k. So that's only 50% of your retirement airplane. So where are you going to get the other 50%? You have to have a saving strategy, and you have to be on track with your savings, and you have to start early. So it is individual responsibility, personal responsibility to be savers for retirement. So we know that we have a crisis in financial illiteracy here in the United States and throughout the world. And as these statistics show, 44% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency. So we're looking at the fact that we do understand that the people cannot have a financial retirement because if they don't have it planned properly unless they go through each step. So here we see 43% of student loan borrowers are not making payments, and $9,333 is the average credit card debt for balances carrying households. And they will pay $37,486 in interest over 30 years. And again, the zero retirement savings. That's what we're really concerned about for so many people. 33% of American adults have zero retirement savings. So this is critical that we start today, start now, save regularly, and we're patient. And this graphic, it does show you that if you start early at age 20, for example, with a 9% average annual interest rate compounded monthly, you can save $113 a month. And by age 67, you have a $1 million retirement account. So it's really important that we start. So we're here now, we're in August 2025. It's time to start if you haven't started. So you look here at the various ages and you see the difference here. For someone 40 years old, they have to save $731 a month. So that's important that we start early and be patient. The importance of financial needs assessment here allows you to identify what your goals are, your short-term goals, your midterm goals, your long-term goals. So your short-term is up to about 3 years, your midterm goals are up to about 7 years, and then your long-term goals are 7+ years. And you look at your assets, as we said, cash value, life insurance is an asset. It's a foundation for an estate. And we do recommend that you get that early as possible. And then also, we look at your assets and we determine a balance, a diversified portfolio, and we help you to look at accounts that are tax now accounts, tax later accounts, and tax never accounts. And we go through all the different vehicles with you to determine what percentage of accounts you would like in each one of these buckets. So this is an example here of a $10,000 savings at age 29 and earning a 9% annual return each year. At age 65, you would have $250,000. And so we're talking about saving and how to save and to grow your money. If you pay taxes on the initial $10,000, you will pay a lot less taxes than if you paid taxes on the harvest, which is $250,000. So that's why you need to know where to allocate your money. And we have it color coded here, and you can see the different ways that your money's going to be taxed. And so we'll just review that as well. So the red color code here is tax now, where you're going to be paying taxes every single year on interest, earnings, and dividends. And then tax later is when you only pay the taxes at distribution. So your money, your earnings are accumulating, and then in retirement, when they're distributed, then you pay taxes. And so sometimes this is not the best way to keep all your money in. This people think, okay, I have tax deferred account, I'm good. No, you need the tax never accounts too. And so that's what we know in the financial industry. We recommend that you have the taxes that are not owed on your earnings and your distribution. And so that's why we talk to you about those types of vehicles as well. So it's very important to look at the strategic decisions, and it can determine how much money you keep in your retirement, because we have cases of clients who saved $1 million, but they have to give $300,000 to the government. They're only taking home $700,000. Okay, so you want to be a person who's not paying a lot to the government. You want to be a person who has your savings in a financial vehicle that has the lowest taxes possible. And you want to be able to have that money for your family, for your charitable organization that you choose. So here we see the color-coded types of accounts, and the red accounts here, these are investments made from business income or from employment, salary, wages that have already been taxed. Taxes are paid annually on interest, dividends earned unless held in qualified retirement plans. And then our gold color-coded plans here, the qualified retirement plans, those are the 401ks, 403bs, 457, and traditional IRA plans, which allow you to invest pre-tax dollars with no taxes to pay on the principal or growth until retirement. Okay, and so you do want to use your qualified retirement plan, but you want a diversity. So that's what we're saying. You don't want to have everything in your qualified retirement plan. Okay. And so we're saying that you don't pay taxes on the principal or growth until retirement, at which time you pay income tax at the future tax rate on the full amount of distribution each year. And then we have the annuity. And here again, except for qualified retirement plans, money invested in annuities will have already been taxed. Growth is tax deferred until retirement. At that time, you'll pay income tax on the gross portion of your distributions each year. Then we look at government bonds, Roth IRAs, and permanent life insurance. Here, you use after-tax money to invest in government and municipal bonds, excluding qualified retirement plans. Depending on whether the bond is federal or municipal, interest may be exempt from federal or state taxes. With the Roth IRAs, you invest in a Roth IRA with after-tax dollars. Your account grows tax-free, and you don't pay taxes on distributions. So again, we're looking at tax never accounts. So you need to have a diversified portfolio with considerations of all these different vehicles. And then the permanent life insurance, where the premiums are paid with after-tax dollars, and as long as your policy remains active, you will never pay taxes on distributions that you take. For supplemental retirement income, or for special purchases. So we begin to see how important it is to know about the different financial vehicles. And here you see that a diversified portfolio of financial assets are listed. Again, it's so important to know the different categories of financial vehicles. And this graphic gives you, again, the information just to summarize it as well. So as we talk about how to build wealth, we want to think about the strategies, and we want to think about how to protect against any losses. Okay. And so we look at the fact that we want to reduce the risk of loss. We want to diversify our portfolio, and we want to utilize financial vehicles. The time is now. We're not going to just procrastinate. We're in August 2025. We're going to do what we need to do, okay? And we're going to consider inflation and talk with financial professionals about ways to reduce or remove the impact of losses for your strategy. Many people don't think about how you can protect yourself against loss with permanent life insurance. And this is what we want to talk about here. That if you have your principal, your savings in a permanent life insurance, you are protected against market risk. Your money, you're not going to lose your money because there's a floor, a 0% floor. You're going to have usually a guaranteed rate, but you're never going to lose your money. Okay. So that's the great thing about permanent life insurance. But if it's in the stock market, we all know you could lose your principal. You have a tax-free legacy. So when your heirs, your beneficiaries receive your death benefit, they don't have to pay taxes on your death benefit. And the whole time you have the permanent life insurance, it is going to grow tax-free. So you're not going to have to pay taxes on your earnings. So that's the beautiful thing about it, or your distributions and your loans. You're not going to pay taxes on permanent life insurance. So you have tax-free income, and you can use it for retirement. You can use it to purchase all types of things with your cash value. And also you get the benefit of long-term care. With most policies, you can also have a long-term care provision. How much permanent life insurance do you need? And life insurance in general. If you cannot afford permanent life insurance at a larger coverage rate, you can have term life and permanent life, and then eventually convert your term into permanent. Or even if you don't convert, if you have a certain amount, a certain percentage in term life and a certain percentage in permanent life, then you do have coverage that you need. So here's an example. If you're earning $100,000 a year, a good rule of thumb is $1 million of coverage. And that will protect your family against losses, which is very important in building wealth. So again, we're looking at what you can do with permanent life insurance with cash value. You can purchase cars, you can purchase vacations, you can purchase weddings, down payments on houses. There's so many things. And at retirement age, you can switch turn on the switch on your retirement, on your policy, and start taking out a tax-free income monthly. So that's a great thing about permanent life insurance, as long as your policy value is sufficient. So as wealth builders, we have to conquer each of these four threats: procrastination, losses, inflation, and taxes. And hands down, procrastination is the way that we can self-sabotage our wealth building journey. So we see that inflation, it has averaged about 2.8% for the last 100 years. And so here we're using the rule of 72 to look at how many years it will be until the cost of goods double. So it's estimated at 25.7 years with a 2.8% inflation rate, the cost of goods will double. And this is a surprising statistic for many people that 63% of people have a greater fear of running out of money in retirement than dying. So you see how important and critical this conversation is. Because if you don't know what's ahead, you're not going to be prepared. So that's why people don't have peace of mind, because they don't have the numbers that they understand and know, and they're not looking at their net worth, they're not tracking their progress, and they don't know how much money they need. So therefore, you don't have peace of mind if you don't even know how much money you need and how much you project to need throughout your retirement. So in a recent Gallup survey, 85% of non-retired American investors strongly agree that having a guaranteed income stream in retirement to supplement Social Security benefits is critical. Okay, so it's very important that you have a guaranteed income stream in retirement. So you have to have your savings, and we also recommend annuities, and we recommend a full portfolio so that you can know that you have all of the retirement income that you're going to need with your permanent life insurance income as well. This is my contact information, and I really want to help you. I appreciate you coming today. And as you can see, World Financial Group and WealthWave, we really have media across the country, and we're working in the community to help you have understanding of the wealth building process, the money milestones. And so we really want to make sure that you have your financial needs assessment and that you put into operation this information. Next week, we will review the last milestone, protect wealth. So please come back next week and we will finalize all of the milestones. And if you miss some of the milestones, I'll be able to help you personally with those. They are all interrelated, so I can go over those with you. Those as you can see, those are the 7 money milestones. And I'm checking here for any questions. Okay. Thank you for your attendance. I don't see any questions here right now. You can always reach out to me. And okay, have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.